So a lot of people have sent this to me. It says pick a side YouTube. I'm not exactly entirely sure what it's about. What I think of somebody, I think it's about YouTube, bro. It says pick a side. I think it's about like the hypocrisy of YouTube. For me personally, just what I don't know if this is relevant to the video yet, but I have an issue with YouTube. Incredibly slow monetization. Generally speaking, I put a video up, it gets instantly demonetized. I have to put it in for review. Usually takes a day. It's been taking up to 10 days now. And they're not transparent at all when you talk to them. They don't care. They walk you around. I messaged them the other day and I said, hey, this video has been up for 10 days and being reviewed. Can you do something about it? Because it says it'll only take 7 days only. So we'll usually get to it within 7 days. We're at 10 now. Can you take a look at it? 10 minutes later, they're like, yeah, looks like we're still reviewing it. Well, thanks. That's a really good. Thank you so much for the help. Like, so fucking tone deaf. YouTube's tone deaf, bro. So it's just pissing me off. And this one, I got pissed. They said, well, we're slower because of the pandemic. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up. You're not slower because of COVID. You're not. You're lying. I know that you're lying. And because you can work from home. It's not their fault. It's not the person's fault that I'm talking to, honestly. It's not that person's fault. It's just, that's what YouTube tells them to tell us. It's like, yeah, just run in a circle until they get what they want they want to run you in a circle until you get bored and you're no longer like engaged in the conversation. That's all it is. And it's frustrating. It might be the holiday season. I just don't understand why it goes from a day to 10 days. How does your efficiency go to 10%? Yeah, I've only, like, we're in COVID. We've been in COVID. We were in COVID. I know that protocols are going up in COVID because my wife works. But these people can very easily work from home. It's not an unreasonable assumption. So it's all probably remote working. It's remote work. Apparently this is an issue every season. I just don't understand how it goes from a day to 10 days. It's insane. It's an infrastructure problem on YouTube. And I don't get it because you're losing money. Like I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot of money, man. I got COVID myself, and then I came back, and all my videos were getting screwed with. So I already lost money on COVID, and then I lose money because they're just not doing it. They're just not monetizing my videos. And then, of course, I'm going to lose some money too because it's Christmas, so I'm going to take time off for that. And it's dude, you guys are slapping me, and it's so frustrating, man. And they don't care.
Colmus34 just subscribe.
Thank you so much for the sub. I even asked, when is there a time frame when this won't be a problem? And they're like, I can't give it that. You're not helpful at all. Anyway, let's watch the video. Enough of me ranting.
On November 26, 2021, my good friend Max published a video exposing the colossal pedo ring that is IMVU, where he uncovered one particularly inveterate
Isn't he already Max?
child predator known in-game as Pablo Sonny, a pedophile with an extensive history of grooming multiple teenage girls. And to no one's surprise,
Jesus.
YouTube tore it down like none of it ever happened. The fickle thing about it, though, is that the video was cut and censored in accordance with the community guidelines, manually reviewed by your staff in order for the family-friendly shell that remained to be available on your platform, even if age-restricted. I myself have personally seen the entire video, and there is not one timestamp you can find that does anything even remotely illicit, especially compared to the categorical obscenities that already plague YouTube.
Interesting. Okay, so they're saying that the YouTube manually reviewed it, probably for monetization, and it probably didn't pass, but it was okay to even be up in the first place. Yeah, dude, there's literal yoga. There's nude yoga on YouTube. It's fucking crazy.
And for what? Because of the bare ass of a virtual character.
Oh.
Is this a joke? Max documenting this formerly unknown behavior in a 90-minute documentary.
Following the review, we determine that your video files and community guidelines see if the reference time. So why didn't they just let him remove that?
But the horrors of pedophilia and child sexual abuse in IMVU is somehow sexually gratifying to you? Everything was perfectly fine for the first $500,000 people who watched it, but the very second Team YouTube watches it. Interesting.
Wait, if that's the only issue, why didn't they just pull it down? Why did they re-upload it with that part out? This doesn't seem to be particularly bad. Yeah, there's nude yoga on YouTube.
We tried resolving it with you peacefully, but you were unwilling to budge like the apologist you allegedly are. And Max has had enough.
Are you Max? I'm fucking confused, dude.
Just fucking kidding.
didn't want the video up in general. Well, is that true though, or was it like they pulled that down because they felt like that was an issue? Like, could the question is, did they re-upload the video afterwards? Did they re-upload the video afterwards, or can they?
Fuck with you, and history repeats itself. Whether it's intentional or not, you endlessly punish those of us who create content in response to injustice, speaking up for victims like children and
Well, I will say, like, on TikTok, I had a huge problem. I would try to talk about, like, pedophiles and shit on there. Because they would constantly pull the videos down. But I've never had an issue speaking about sexual assault or any type of, like, allegation on here.
The perpetrators, like pedophiles. It is volatile, intense, disturbing, upsetting, raw, and real. Because that is the subject matter it is covering, and that is the way it should be covered. As my audience, many of whom are CSA survivors, have instructed me to do. But no matter how vital the video may be to them, you take down our shit and continue to help absolutely no one besides the evil people we are trying to expose, and the survivors continue to scream in agonizing silence. But maybe that's the way you like it. I will let my colleagues take a more measured and balanced approach to this discussion. And despite all of the conflicting personalities you're about to see, you'll notice that there's one thing that does bring us all together. We don't like pedophiles. Something you don't seem to see eye to eye with us on YouTube.
It's true. You got fucking Glenn and Cameron still going around. This is like a 50-something-year-old man who admitted in a video on YouTube that he engaged in raping a 16 and 17-year-old girl with the mother. He went to the mother's house. She was like 40-something. They had sex in front of the kids. And then they forced the kids to engage with him because she liked black bulls. So that was fucked up, and his channels aren't taken down.
YouTube messes with me all the time. I remember one time I got 3 strikes, they banned me. I appealed the ban, I said, hey, this is unfair, and they said nope, they rejected my appeal. I've learned a long time ago, you simply cannot trust Google. They still delete my videos to this day. And I really hate saying it, but I don't have pride in YouTube anymore. The amount of censorship is completely disheartening, especially when people need to see this content.
If there's something that the internet has shown us time and time again in regards to independent investigations, it's that the average person can notice something that an investigator might miss the first or second time. And as such, investigative content should really be encouraged.
YouTube is clearly delusional at this point, censoring us all and blatantly ignoring the good that comes from heavily investigated content. The awareness that spreads from such videos are immense. Is that not a good thing though? It honestly feels like YouTube is trying to protect these up people, and that's not okay. This is why we've got to step in.
Personally, I don't think YouTube ever cared about any of us. They only care if you're one of their poster childs, but most importantly, you have to be incredibly ad-friendly. Even 100% innocent channels are getting completely destroyed. I've dealt with it myself multiple times.
90% of the issues with YouTube could be resolved if Google just hired a team of real people to look over and see.
Does YouTube review all videos? No, the way it works is like you'll put up a video and then it'll have like it'll have an algorithm look into seeing if it's palatable. If there's too many checks that hit it, it'll go into like a whatever. It'll get usually demonetized, and so if you want to try to monetize it, you'll put in for a review. There's also different like stages of monetization. So you only see like whether you're green, red, or yellow. Yeah, red means you can't see. You won't get shit. But like a lot of if you have yellow, if you're limited, it depends on the people watching, if they have targeted ads, and if those like those advertisers are willing to like allow people to run. So like there was a period where if I had a demonetized video, people were like all I could see are Donald Trump ads because he didn't give a fuck who watched his shit. So yeah,
what's actually being done than what's just being reported on YouTube. You're basically guilty until proven innocent, and people know this. Sure. My Dan Schneider video got 2 takedown requests, but I know of other smaller YouTubers who have talked about the whole.
It's so funny. I feel like I watched that and I actually put it up, and it got completely shit on. So I was like, all right, I didn't even bother like putting it up. I uploaded, but I didn't put it up because it got like fucking shit on.
Dan Schneider thing, and their shit got taken down because they were small channels and because they couldn't fight back.
You know, YouTube was actually a place for people to create back in the day. I mean, actually hire people to review and moderate videos, not auto-moderated robots. You know, I don't need like fucking R2-D2 over here telling me that my info or any other creator's info isn't valuable to a cause when there's actual victims on the line.
That'd be cool if R2D2 did actually review my stuff, though.
Every single day, we can see exploitative content trending on YouTube. Content such as family channel content that takes advantage of children. On the other hand, we have investigative content.
Bro, they also have nude yoga and femboy ASMR like audio porn. There's a lot of weird shit on there.
That is not only pushed back by the algorithm, not only demonetized, but actively hidden from subscribers who signed up to see that content. And this is a problem.
It feels like YouTube is constantly punishing the wrong people on its platform. I mean, this is something that I experienced with my fake animal rescue investigation, when all of a sudden my videos started getting age restrictions, and then I started to receive community guideline warnings, which basically told me that if I kept making that content, then YouTube would have removed my channel. And what made it so much more frustrating was the fact that these channels that I was
it actually is interesting because I'm thinking about it. I've gotten community guidelines violation before. Like they struck my channel, so you get one warning, and then every time you get a violation after that, you get like a week ban, I think. And I made a video, I think I'm trying to remember the specific one that got pulled. I think the video I made was that vegan teacher did a video about, they like made like a parody song called like I Can't Breathe. It was like a George Floyd parody song, and I covered it, and I was like, this is fucked up. And I think hers is still up, and mine got pulled down for violation of community guidelines, which was fucking bizarre, bro. It was just insane. I was fucking confused. That might have been on like a different channel. That might have been like my clips channel that I had a while ago. Like, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was fucked up.
Exposing just continued on fully monetized and not receiving any form of punishment. Out of all those people that I exposed, the first person to get punished was me. But as upsetting as that situation was, what's happening here with Max's video is something that I find even more concerning. I mean, age restriction is one thing, but to have your video removed completely with no justification and with no chance to appeal it is something that shouldn't happen under any circumstances. I mean, it really is a shame because those who are on here exposing predators and doing so in a fair and responsible way, just like Max was, deserve to have a platform here and deserve to be celebrated for the work they're doing. And yet all too often it's YouTube who's taking action against these creators. And when they do that, they are not only actively siding with these predators, but they are actively protecting them as well.
YouTube likes to put on this front that they care about their creators, when anybody who's worked in the platform knows it's complete bullshit. The only thing they care about is making money. And if you're seen as a little bit unmarketable or a little bit edgy, you're completely screwed. Doesn't matter if you actually are. The thought of you maybe being that is enough to get you completely screwed. And so what ends up happening is they end up censoring these really important things, like people raising awareness or people investigating things or trying to expose things. They end up censoring them because they're a little bit dark. Imagine outlets not
all I'll say is, like, for me personally, like, I mean, like, that vegan teacher one was, like, annoying. But for the most part, my videos where I talk about, you know, these different situations, maybe they're just not as in-depth as what these guys talk about. But I have, like, sometimes they'll get demonetized. But I usually won't have an issue of, like keeping them up. Occasionally age restrictions, but like, you know, what Joe wrote, for instance, like the guy, like the fucking 27-year-old guy who was like talking to 17-year-old boys and like getting them ready to become adults, and like, I guess that one's not as bad. That's pretty bad. The Gemini official situation, where like, you know, all this other stuff. I don't know. Maybe I just don't talk about it with the same intensity, or I'm not as graphic. I don't show stuff. Maybe they're showing. I don't really know.
Publishing stories or exposés or really hard-hitting things because the subject matter was sensitive. It's just so ridiculous to think about. YouTube pretends to care about their creators when they don't.
The overall problem with YouTube is that it cares more for its public appearance than it does for those who actually make the platform work. Content creators, especially those who focus on investigative reporting,
This is Ben Shapiro. It's Matt Pat.
are very often either heavily censored or flat out removed from the website if we, for lack of a better words, get too loud. If we know our place and don't...
Because I don't have the subs? Yeah, that's probably true too. You got a good point. That's true. Mama's twice the size, bro. This person's like fucking 7 times the size of me. What are you talking about? Get good traction. I don't get great, whatever. I'm not like complaining, but you know, that's a good point.
We're shine a light on the elephant in the room, we are safe. But if we actually do our job...
No, it's not rude at all, bro. I'm not offended. But that probably is a factor too.
Then we were punished.
You know, when we look at YouTube's policies, some of the content that I was making specifically did cover upon people that were actually predatory towards underage people on the internet. And that's a big problem. It's a reality. Whether you go on YouTube, whether you go on Facebook, whether you go on Discord, whether you go on any platform, there's always creepy adults who are willing to use their power and advantage to overpower actual underage individuals. And that's disgusting, and it's actually really sick. And the problem that we have on YouTube is even if you follow all the rules and all the guidelines and you blur every single thing imaginable, you're still potentially facing some level of a privacy guideline strike. And I don't know how it gets handled. Sometimes they go through, sometimes they don't. But even if you attempt to follow every single rule, it seems as though that many of these sites tend to favor and protect a lot of these individuals, even if it is unintentionally. Hell, just look at some of these harassment guidelines. If you even leak out or potentially mention somebody else, you could. It's such a vague terms of service that who knows? Somebody may potentially take advantage of it and use it to strike your channel. It feels as though every time you actually try to bring light to something disgusting like this and have it potentially investigated and shut down, you're the bad guy. Okay, so really,
yeah. I mean, again, I've had that biggest issue on like TikTok is horrible about that.
Restricts a lot of people from putting their effort into it. And unfortunately, it feels as though the system is geared against people trying to do actual good, and it seems like the people who are actually the malicious and fucked up people in nature are the ones that may unintentionally get protected with all these new guidelines and privacy issues and all that. But generally, that's the way that I feel.
Yeah, I think it's a legal thing. I think that a lot of it's like I think that's what it is more than anything else. It's legality. I don't think that they're worried too much about I mean, they might be worried about ad palatability, but probably not so much. TikTok's probably worried about more of that. It's probably the legality of it. Because I remember when like this guy Gemini was doing some fucked up shit. I have plenty of videos on him. And I reached out to a reporter of like the New York Times, and because I had talked to them before about a different issue. And they were like, oh, well, if there's no charges, we can't talk about it. It's like a big legal thing. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with that, since it's a very delicate situation. I don't really know.
Feel about it. I literally had to stop making content because it feels like I was the one being targeted by the lords above, if you will.
I am an investigative journalist, and if YouTube takes that away from me, how am I going to be able to take care of my cat? You'd be taking food out of the mouths of hardworking individuals and putting it into the mouths of pedophiles.
YouTube has never really given a shit about investigative journalism content. I think that's really a given. While YouTube in recent years has tried to be a squeaky clean company that not many people could be offended by, investigative journalism inherently goes into topics that are controversial or require a lot of depth to get into. It doesn't really matter if these investigative pieces could actually help real law enforcement with actual crimes, which is why some small investigative journalism channels are being taken down, because YouTube thinks people won't notice. We need to show them that we do, and that if they continue to do it, it's going to look bad on them as a company for all of us.
What worries me about the state of YouTube isn't just how it seems to prioritize mainstream media over investigative journalism or independent journalism, but also how it takes these concepts that it uses to soft censor commentators and it applies it to the rest of YouTube. Just as a film analyst and reviewer myself, there's a lot of censoring that I have to do on my own channel. I love the platform of YouTube, but I don't feel like it supports my own free speech, and I think that a lot of discussions are stifled because we creators feel like there are just things that we cannot talk about. This is how we've been conditioned.
I definitely don't think it's great that YouTube sometimes removes content that exposes pedophiles and
Internet of J. Oh shit!
Animal abusers. I understand that YouTube has strict advertisement guidelines, but a lot of dark content creators and investigative channels are truly facing negative repercussions. Hopefully YouTube is willing to work on this sensitive issue and make changes that are better for
He just never turns off the fucking radio voice, bro. Like it's like I don't know. I feel like he doesn't talk like that in real life. You know what I mean?
The community.
If he does, then like he must be a fucking joy to be around.
My name is Jay Boston. I've been a voice actor for MamaMax for a couple of years at this point. With the takedown of his most recent video, you can't really help but begin to theorize that although the method of delivery is unique, it still acts as this campaign of awareness against individuals on the internet that are engaging in felonious acts such as pedophilia and grooming. And with YouTube's consistent censorship and suppression of Max, you can't help but ask the question, why?
As a creator who tries to bring more attention to sensitive and dark subjects in the online realm, I also feel neglected and let down by YouTube. Max is one of many creators on the platform that
But this was the person talking for a second. I was confused.
supports YouTube in their quest to fight against the exploit of minors. YouTube is doing themselves no favor by striking and deleting content, exposing the same problem they are trying to fix. Max's videos contain months of work to collect as much evidence as possible. YouTube thanks him by making his life as hard as possible, by not communicating, deleting his videos, and striking his channel.
So MamaMax, he hit me up and he's like, look, I'm doing this video, do you want to be a part of it? And I thought, you know what, actually I do, because he's right in what he's saying. With his work, obviously it's investigations into very dark territory, people that are abusing kids. It's very important to put that out there and show the world what's going on. You would think if YouTube was staying to its original ethos, that YouTube would be a great place to do that, show the world, where otherwise this kind of information might not get out there. Now what they're doing is they're trying to censor stuff that is kind of a little bit dark, a little bit edgy, because it doesn't really line up with their advertisers. So the same thing has happened to me with my platform, Popular Front, independent conflict reporting. We go to wars, we show the world what is going on, and it's completely independent. Our whole channel has been demonetized. They've put some of our documentaries up behind this weird warning saying that the content is considered offensive. Like, what is offensive about documenting war crimes? Okay, it might not be palatable for your advertisers, but it's very important work. It needs to be out there. So I think what MamaMax is saying is definitely right. YouTube needs to stop doing this, or they need to really be honest about what it is. Do they just want content that is good for their advertisers, that they can say, yeah, this is all nicey, nanny state type stuff? Or do they want to stick to the original plan of, yeah, anyone can use this platform to kind of put information out there? I don't know, it's a real problem, and I'm glad MamaMax is drawing attention to it. Hopefully YouTube will listen. I doubt they will, but who knows?
You know, YouTube likes to pride themselves on being this big platform.
Let me just tell you something right now. My what I complained about in the beginning of the video, nothing to do with this. I didn't know this video was gonna be so fucking intense. Yeah, I don't think I'm experiencing this much of a similar issue at this point. To be honest with you, obviously they have much more valid criticisms. I'm still gonna bitch and moan about it though.
Platform where any creator can make it for any kind of genre they want to, but at the end of the day, it's like if you're going to do any kind of investigative journalism, you're going to have a rough time, because when it comes down to it, the big corporations, they have way more leeway in what they can cover compared to you. I've had videos that have been age restricted and demonetized because of the topics I'm talking about, but then you see the mainstream news where their clips are on the trending front page and they're talking about that same thing, and that shit's fucked up, honestly. That shit really pisses me off. Because it's like, why are they giving all this leeway to the big corporations, but then when it comes down to the smaller creators that make up the entire platform, oh, they're not allowed to talk about it, you know?
YouTube, you don't need to protect pedophiles, you don't need to protect animal abusers. These are bad people. Society has deemed them as bad people. We are allowed to bully them. YouTube, please let us bully bad people. Censorship bad, pedophiles bad, animal abusers bad. That's my take.
Well, yeah, okay.
We do what we do to alert the public. Warn the innocent.
All right. I'm getting a little scared. I'm pretty sure she's going to teleport into my fucking room right now.
Spread the word. But YouTube seems to punish the heroes and reward the villains cowering behind their screens.
Bro, I swear to God that this person has like fucking like Viking runes and like does rune readings.
Whose side are you on, YouTube?
YouTube taking down this kind of content reminds me of what a lot of people refer to as toxic positivity, pretending that everything is fine and avoiding the problem head on. They've also started doing this with basic criticism on the platform, such as removing dislikes and making it a lot harder to comment on mobile, which coincidentally...
Is it hard to comment on mobile? Shit, just stay home all day.
is the device most people use when engaging with their site. When we lose the ability to critique...
Is it really hard on mobile? I've never heard that before. That's bizarre. I know the dislike thing. It's starting to make more sense to me.
We lose the ability to improve.
Yeah, I think what's given most people, you know, the idea, and me included, that YouTube doesn't really care so much is that it keeps moving the goalposts of what it wants on the site and what's acceptable nowadays. You know, it seems like what you put up on a Monday will get you in the crapper by Friday.
It's hard being a commentator or an investigative creator on the platform of YouTube a lot of the time, because I think, to be honest, YouTube have made it pretty clear they're not really big fans of our presence, and honestly, they just would like the world without the drama. But at the end of the day, when people are being exploited, I think there needs to be a point where creators exist. And
it's very interesting because like all I really have is TikTok to talk about this, because like I have my platform's like 167,000, but like I don't get great traction, so I might as well be a fucking channel with like 20,000 followers. Which is fine. I'm not actually complaining. I'm very fortunate because I actually do make a decent living doing this either way. But when I was on TikTok, I was like 2.5 million, and I would do commentary. And they got to a point where, and like I had like an edgy phase. I'm not gonna lie or say that I came out of the phase before I got banned, but it was very difficult to talk about a lot of stuff when I was talking about like abuse stuff. Always take it down, even in the heyday of TikTok where nothing was taken down. You really can't talk about a lot of stuff when it comes to like these sensitive topics. It's a fucking flip of the coin, the toss of the coin of what you can and can't talk about. A lot of times though, and the commentary is like dead on TikTok. It's really pretty much dead. There's really nothing left. So I think that TikTok wants to get rid of commentators. The only commentators that are left are like progressive commentators that are like palatable, you know, even when a lot of them are being racist. It doesn't matter because they're, you know, whatever. I'm not going to get into it. It doesn't really matter. But the commentary is pretty much dead. So I can understand and like I can See, I wouldn't doubt that YouTube isn't a particular fan of commentary channels because they can be toxic sometimes, I guess, too. Yeah.
And I think we do a pretty good job in that regard. It's just YouTube don't really want us there to do it.
If we weren't able to investigate things like...
But, sorry, I don't mean to... But a lot of it is like reaction, too. On TikTok, at least. I can't talk about it here too much. You know, people, if somebody is more palatable, then their content is more okay to post. You know, it's a little shitty because, like, you know, even now I'm banned, so I made a new account. I'm just having fun. Also, I'm jerking off. I'm not doing that on there. Like, I twerk and I just make silly videos where I pretend to like I actually screenshot NFTs and I pretend I own it, like stupid stuff. And I did a video yesterday where some girl or some person, I don't know if they're a girl, they were criticizing. They're saying, "Oh, straight guys dress so poorly that when they dress with anything interesting, everybody praises them." And I was like, "Oh yeah." So I pulled up my sweatpants and I tucked my shirt in. I pulled it up to like above my belly button. I put a fanny pack on and I have like an Among Us little coin purse that you could press in, you know, those like little toys that I think, you know, like the stimulation toys. And I had my Leviathan axe that my wife got me. And like, I was like, oh yeah, look how sexy I am, and to an audio. And then I twerked with the axe and they pulled it down as a dangerous act. And that's, you know, but meanwhile, there's like audios. And then there's audios that are like, eat my pussy, bitch. You know what I mean? It's just people not as palatable, I guess, you know?
Chris Hansen, Onision, EDP, a lot of the very positive impacts would just be void. They wouldn't even exist because a lot of this stuff just gets swept along to the wayside. Now, I know that there's some people who do take advantage of this system, but I genuinely believe that the good outweighs the bad. And if we're no longer able to investigate stuff like this, it's going to be a net loss for the entire community.
Easily. I wonder how good, I've been looking into Facebook lately. I don't know how Facebook works. I want to put videos up on there and get monetized on them. I just don't know how it works. I need somebody to like help me out. I wonder if like this could potentially be like a threat to YouTube, is if people actually like jumped onto Facebook. I have no idea how to. I wouldn't like leave YouTube, but I would double post, you know.
The most frustrating thing for me personally has been issues with YouTube's privacy complaint system. YouTube has a system in place to allow private figures to request retractions on public YouTube videos if they feel information about them, like their identity, has been compromised by that video. Information that deserves to be private. In theory, this seems like a good idea, but in practice, this allows some bad actors to silence criticism. About half a year ago, I posted a video about an individual who I would love to name, who spent his time being a sex pest in people's messages by, well, there's really no way to put this nicely, sending pictures of himself wearing a diaper in women's DMs. So, I posted a 17-minute breakdown of who he is. Keep in mind, I censored all of his private info for his own safety, while still telling the story accurately. He created his own thread on gossip forums in order to humiliate himself, and even posted his full name and address. I merely talked about the fact that he did this, and was punished. YouTube allowed this person to abuse the privacy system multiple times to get the video taken down. But I can't help but find it funny that YouTube took down my video, claiming that I was engaging in violating this guy's privacy, and later harassing him, when he was the one who brought it all on himself in the first place, and intentionally.
It's interesting because I'm a little bit familiar with that system. I've had it happen to me twice where they'll send something out and they'll say, "Hey, this person put in a privacy claim. We haven't investigated it yet. You can take it down now, and whatever happens, happens." You know, and like I've responded to them and said that there's nothing in here. I watched the whole video, no problem. Like I'll rewatch it, and there's absolutely nothing in here that's like pulled down or in there that's inappropriate. And I've won those claims. So like I don't know, you know, I personally have had like I haven't had the most positive experience with YouTube. It's been pissing me off lately, but like I haven't had the as negative, and it's probably because I'm not as big of a content creator, I guess, or I'm just lucky. I don't know.
Embarrassing. I've been Turkey Tom. Bye.
It pains me to say YouTube has garnered a reputation for leaving their own creators in the dark when it comes to imposing important rules and regulations. Guidelines against harassment are a good thing, but how are investigative creators meant to follow them when the language used is so intentionally vague? I'm tired of pouring hours of work into a video only for it to be demonetized and age restricted with little to no helpful explanation.
Yeah, that's why you just have to not put any effort into your content like I do.
How are we supposed to know what to avoid if we don't know what we're doing wrong?
Maybe that's part of it. Like I just like my content, you know, I fucking watch videos or I'll review a situation. So there's not a whole lot of editing in there. And so like if it gets demonetized, I'm not crying about it too much because it's not like a huge hit. Like I'm upset when they don't like review, because like sometimes my big issue is they won't review my videos. Like if they reviewed it and because like actually they did 2 today. One was at 8 days and one was at 11 days of not being looked at. They monetized one and they didn't monetize the other. Well, it was fine because one of them was talking about grooming. So I was like, okay, I get it. you know, but they're just not even fucking looking at it. But maybe that's what it is.
YouTube has slowly been more restrictive.
Like I'll do a stream and I'll pull like 3 videos out of the stream, you know?
In terms of content creators, trying to tell stories of bad actors within communities. Content is the hardest to deal with, as a lot of what might be discussed has to be censored. For example, a History Channel might want to cover World War II, but to absolutely make sure they get that green mark, they might have to change a few things in the wording. Such as, the main bad guy of the Second Big War unalived himself when he lost. And this becomes a lot harder for channels that cover recent awful individuals, that commit acts like, and even, and with YouTube's current system, the person being covered, if so out there, has an easier time taking down the video, even if it has evidence, and the YouTuber is careful with wording as to not end up in court when covering the story.
It is very unfortunate that as the clock ticks and YouTube grows older, exchanging from hand to hand, they continue to suppress these same creators that helped legitimize their website in the first place, while they let corporations run around and do whatever they want. As time goes on, Team YouTube ceases to surprise with their pompous, unapologetic, hypocritical attitude. In the direction we're heading now, it becomes clear with each passing terrible update, unfair strike, and sketchy termination that this website in the eyes of Team YouTube has nothing to do with creativity, independent creators, and especially you.
I wonder if Ethan from H3 is in here, you know? Because I don't think he's friendly with YouTube at all. I don't think that... So I feel like he probably would want to speak out against YouTube, like, hey, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he has like a very negative experience with YouTube.
I could not agree more, my friends, but I'm worried that all of your wise words will go to waste if no one sees this. So let's all go ahead and forcefully drag everyone down with us, starting with the following people. Susan Wojcicki.
I never knew how to say her name. I thought it was Susan Wojcicki. So, all right.
Lying to us every time you have to give a statement in response to videos.
This reminds me of my paralysis demon.
Like mine. All these broken promises you've made that never come into fruition. All of these incessant changes that no one ever asked for or wanted. Take some goddamn accountability. We are so sick of seeing the malicious and deceitful words you and your company repeatedly propagate.
Listen, like YouTube's there's definitely a lot to call out. This is getting a little cringe to me. Sorry. I'm a little bit of a boomer. I did want to say though, that like I was talking about the paralysis demon before. I feel bad for my wife because sometimes I wake up just screaming. And that's my whole story. And I don't really wake up. I'm like in like a weird state and I'll just start screaming because I can't wake up, you know? I just start yelling and I go, and I try to vocalize because I can't move myself. And then my wife has to wake me up. And it's pretty fucked up.
Either do something good for this site once in your fruitless life or step the fuck
I know who this is. This is Corpse Husband. That's who's narrating this video.
down. Philip DeFranco. Remember when you and your team ignored us last time during the whole Answer Us PedoTube thing because you were too busy talking about some stupid drama? I know I'm not as famous as you would like, but how about you do the right thing this time and fucking say something?
I think the problem I really do have though, oh my god, I would love to cream on your bald head. Wow, that was really appropriate. Is like I have like weird sensory issues. Not to be all like fucking, you know, whatever, but so like this voice is actually giving me like a weird thing. It's not satisfying to me personally. That's probably what the issue is.
I know you're on break, so it would mean even more to me for you to actually do something this time around.
It's interesting that there's H3. I was gonna say for Philip DeFranco, I don't know if it would be in his realm. I mean, you should still talk about it, but I don't know if it's in his realm. This is definitely in H3's realm.
Ethan Klein.
And I have a huge problem. This is the thing that pisses me off so much with the H3 situation. Bro, this guy Glendon Cameron. I know he knows about who he is because a lot of my followers popped in the stream and like paid money on one of his streams to be like, hey, can you look into Glendon Cameron? And one of the bald guy, I guess, he's like, oh, I don't know who that is. We'll look into it. I know you know who it is. Listen, it bothers me because, like, you know, you'll go after like James Charles and shit. I get it. Not a good guy. Is that Dan? But you got Glenn Cameron. He's 50-something years old now. He made a video admitting that when he was like 35, he would go on Craigslist and he would like have horribly inappropriate engagements with children, right? Like he talked about, he described a situation where when he was like 30-something, he met up with like this 45-year-old mother who liked big dicks, black dick. Like that's like black bulls is what he called it. They had sex in front of her 16, 17-year-old daughter and then proceeded to force the two of them to engage sexually with him, even though they were virgins. Like, this guy's horrible. He doesn't care about age of consent. It just matters like if they look mature. He talked about how he would make sure he went out of his way to go after the girls that were underage, make sure that they come from really bad family lives so that like they wouldn't call the cops on him. Right? He would get like he admitted that he got pictures from like 15-year-old girls. It's horrible. This guy is disgusting. And like H3 didn't look into it or talk about it. But you'll talk about Call Me Carson, a fucking 19-year-old who like sexted a 17-year-old. Who cares? Like really? But like the real shit, they don't care. They don't talk about it. They don't give a shit. And it's frustrating. And I know H3 knows about it. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm bad faithing. I don't know. But dude, holy fuck. You know? It feels like a virtue signal. It feels like we'll talk about somebody when it's relevant to talk about them because they're popular, but we won't talk about people when it's not popular. I just feel like the whole point of having, I don't know, for me, like I like to have fun and watch bullshit videos and have fun sometimes, but there's moments where you're supposed to leverage your platform and try to do the right thing. Clearly the people in this video seem to do that quite even more than me, obviously, in more serious, intense ways. But, you know, I try, and this one was really, it fucked me up, man. You're saying it's not his thing. It is, but it is his thing. Like it really is. He is like the biggest commentator on YouTube. I feel like it is his thing. I feel like he just doesn't care. You know, and there's nothing we could do except get this guy off. Like I don't think that somebody that engages in that type of shit should have a platform. Personally, they should raise awareness. But like when it came to James Charles, we got to deplatform a guy, and like he did some bad shit. Like obviously. You know, but then like, you know, we're talking about like a 20-something, like what, 21, 22, 20, so talking to like fucking 16-year-old boys. That's fucked. Like, yeah, it's gross. But then you got 35-year-olds raping 16-year-olds. And this guy, like, it's, you know what I mean, man? I don't know. It's frustrating.
I was told you talked to someone at YouTube for me last time. Thank you so much for that. I know you're busy dealing with important shit, but I'm gonna ask that you take a minute to speak to YouTube again for me. Privately is fine. Publicly it would be better. Follow me back if you want details. Keemstar.
It's a little cringe.
You are always my fucking man when it comes to this shit. As a loving father, I know you won't let me down.
What the fuck? This is so cringe. Okay. Dan quickly dismissed it, and Ethan admitted the producers come up with the topics about Ethan knows or Dan understood the severity of it. Fuck that, dude. I don't care. He has a say. There's not that many producers. I think that's bullshit. I don't believe that Ethan has no control over what they talk about. Insane.
Scarce. Thanks so much for covering my story last time, brother. I desperately call upon you for help once again. It would mean the world to me. Charlie, I look up to you because you're a good man. You stand up for what's right and speak out in defense of all of us smaller than you. But it is my regret to inform you that your video talking with the CEO of YouTube has aged like milk. So I'm going to kindly ask for your help once again. Chris Hansen.
I don't know why this makes me cringe a little. I'm sorry. You know what it is? I don't know, man. I just usually wouldn't. I don't know. The praising is a little weird to me. You know, I don't know.
People kept telling me not to talk to you, but you were one of the first of us. And although you screwed the fucking pooch, I'm willing to forgive you if you speak up for us. I know you've got some connections that Susan can't ignore. I tried reaching out to you, but you ignored me. So now my audience will do it for me. Shane Dawson. I know you've done a lot of fucked up shit in the past and you don't really deserve everyone's forgiveness. But since you're one of the biggest creators in our genre, standing up for what's right instead of wasting time on haunted houses would finally make you look good to the public once again. This is your chance to redeem yourself. Don't squander it. Corpse. I know you have nothing to do with this, but with all of your power,
I could have swore he's talking to himself.
influence, and the favor.
Why court? This is so weird.
me. I just couldn't help myself. So, remember when you reached out after years of not speaking to me while I was at the hospital tending to my sick girlfriend, and you kept trying to rush me home to...
Wait, what is it? I want to... I would assume you're talking about this. Corpse doesn't... Can you... Where he said the R slur. Wait, what? Corpse hasn't... Can you please address this video from 2017 where... And he says the R slur? Are we talking about, like, you know, the ridiculous? I'm a neurodivergent minor, so I can say it, but I choose not to. Like, who really cares? I'm not trying to be an asshole, but like, who gives a fuck about that? What is
me while I was at the hospital.
Pretty bad. LOL. Putting out a statement. It would look better if the video is down. No problem. I can do it later tonight. Is there any way you can do it right now? Is he really harassing this guy over taking out a video with the word retard in it? I'm not trying to be like antagonistic, but like when this guy's dealing with his fucking injured girlfriend as if it's a fucking something that immediately needs to happen. What the fuck? Like, I get you shouldn't say the word, right? I shouldn't have said it before, but are we really melting down over this? There's priorities in life.
Tending to my sick girlfriend, and you kept trying to rush me.
Okay, I guess he didn't know. Oh, then he did know, and he still rushed it. I don't want to rush you, but I kind of need it done soon. Why do you need it done soon? What does it matter? Why does he care so much? Are they the same person? Is he talking to himself? I'm very confused. Why is he so invested in this?
Huge favor, and then you threw me under the bus for...
Can you please address this video, blah, blah, blah. Hi, I want to address this as soon as I could. Over 4 years ago when I was 19, I said the R word in a video. Is it the N word with the R, or is it like the R word? I'm so confused. I said the R word in a video I was featured in. I was reading off a script that I did not write. However, I will take full accountability and say that I chose to read it. Had I known the severity between the word at the time, I would not have said it. Shut the fuck up. Sorry for using it. Blah, blah, blah. Use the word now. I know not to use the word now and have for a while. For clarity, do not support to use the word. I reached out to MamaMax, who's a creator that knows the video, and he also takes full accountability and offers a sincere apology as well. We will take the video down. Once again, I'm sorry. What? Okay. Max is corpse. Yeah, no, he is. I know you're saying he's not, but they're the same person, bro. This guy is schizophrenic. This guy has dissociative identity disorder.
Something you did, and at the same time acted like you were taking full responsibility for it. But I let you do it because I thought you were going to be my friend like you used to be, and then you stopped talking to me immediately after you were done using me. Yeah.
I mean, I get like censoring the word. You got to take the whole video down? Censor the words. Censor it out. Let's cut that, pour it out or something. I don't know.
So, how about you do me the fucking favor this time and talk about something besides yourself for once? It will give you a good look. I promise. Oh yes. If I have to start shit with every influencer in this goddamn planet just to make anyone give even a slight fuck, so be it.
Ask Trisha Paytas. Ask Trisha Paytas to do it. See if she will do it. Maybe she will. You know, that'd be weird. I don't know why. It would just be a weird crossover.
I'd rather have the whole world hate me than ever hear a child's voice being silenced again. If anyone wants to react to this video, my content is free for you to make as much money off of it in whatever way you wish. I do not give a shit. Bad press.
Is that Sniper Wolf? Is that SSS Sniper Wolf?
Good press. I just want to finally see some justice done for the victims in my videos. So, again, I'm gonna have to upset all of my fellow creators and make a goddamn disaster out of you, YouTube, because you never do anything until we start squeezing your balls. And this is the part.
Maybe they like it.
Where you come in, children. The links are in the description.
What? Dude, what? Common children? I'm fucking confused.
I kindly ask you to come with me to make a fucking mess for the second time. I want you to pace this bitch until the world is nauseous from looking at it. I want you to drown out every trending topic so that even something like Spider-Man looks like a microscopic speck of dust compared to us. And tonight, YouTube will choose. Let die the pedophiles they love, or suffer the little children. And by the end of the night, I want Twitter to be a shitstorm.
The fuck? I kind of want that guy to just say Among Us, you know? All right, is this the rest of the video? What is this the rest of the video? It's just like a... What is this? I don't really know. Is this the rest of it though? All right. Well, that was interesting. A lot of people really want me to watch that. Definitely a good message in there. The voice kind of got me a little bit. I'm a little neurodivergent, so it kind of fucked me up. I don't know. It was a good video. I mean, listen, I'm an old boomer, so some of it was a little cringe to me. But hey, what the fuck do I know?